Hello and welcome to the crowds, to the gentleman at the back. Sorry, who is that?
That is Milo.
Milo, nice to see you. You're very welcome. Thank you for all your support. Yeah, it's support. I mean, Ballina team community, Suzanne here from the Connaught Distillery.
Mm-hmm.
How are you?
I'm fabulous, thank you.
You're very welcome. I suppose today is about Home to Mayo. It's about Home to Mayo as part of the Global Irish Festival series, which is a joint initiative between Fáilte Ireland and the Department of Foreign Affairs. The Mayo Marquee, in which we're here today and which you're all welcome to, is the Market Square is sponsored by the Local Live Performance Support Scheme funded by the Department of Tourism and Culture, Arts, the Gaeltacht, Sport and Media, and it's administered by the Mayo County Council. So it's with thanks to Mayo County Council for the funding and support from Ballina's Home to Mayo Festival, so we're very appreciative. That goes on in conjunction with, of course, Ballina Chamber, and also the businesses in and around Ballina that support that. So, and you are the Connaught Distillery, you are the brand ambassador for the Connaught Distillery. Could you, I suppose, tell us a little bit about the Connaught Distillery and how that came about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not local, as you can tell, but I'm delighted to be part of
We'll get back to that later. We'll start off with
Absolutely.
We'll get back to that.
But I'm so lucky to be part of the team at the Connaught Distillery. So we are a distillery. We were founded in 2016, and we've been making some wonderful gin, which we're showcasing here today, as you can see. Some poaching, vodka, and of course our just launched whiskey batch 1. So we're delighted to be here and of course a part of the community and be involved in as much ways as we can.
I think it's great to have a distillery here, but it's great to have a company and support that is bringing jobs and bringing new products into Ballina. But you know, it takes a lot of things to happen in the right way. I suppose first of all, where you're located is in what was the old Duffy's Bakery, but it is in, you're almost in the heart of Ballina there.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really lucky to have such a wonderful facility. So as you said, it was the Duffy's Bakery. We were lucky to be able to transform what was a, dilapidated sort of building into this wonderful new distillery that's transforming grain from bread into whiskey. So it's been a wonderful location right beside the Bleak Castle, on a course just beside River Moy, which is just beautiful scenic background, whilst we make whiskey and it ages in our warehouse.
I think it's very important for someone, it's very courageous first of all for someone to see the need for products like that and can see that has a vision in bringing a product to a local area. So, if you talk about the Concullen gin, I suppose first of all, there's lots of great names and stories that I'm aware of, but you might talk a little bit more about them. The name, anyway, first of all, Concullen gin, the design, the bottle, it's beautiful.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
We all adore that bottle. It really stands out. And of course, it's really unique to us. And the name comes from Lough Conn and Lough Cullen, which are local lakes in the area. And again, we're trying to pull in all the local ingredients, everything from the area. As we said, we're really mindful of just involving anything and everything around us because that's what matters the most, supporting the community, being a part of that, and just representing the West Coast.
I think it's very important. I think it's very important because first of all, when we talk about having local product, spending €50 or whatever it is, €30 on a local product, that generates money for the community, and it continues to go around. It grows. I suppose that's one part of it.
Absolutely. I mean, we have still such a small team of 11 people, but we hope to grow, we hope to build on that, and of course they're all local besides myself, based in Dublin. But again, so delighted to come down and visit, Mayo and Ballina and be a part of the team here. It's wonderful, and it's wonderful to represent that as well.
It's part of the enjoyment as well. I think we're coming into something that's often undervalued. I think about a product that's local, and that is that time and energy and thought goes into a product like that, the name, so that it's for me another level of enjoyment, because you're not yes, you're enjoying a good gin, it's tasty, but you're also enjoying someone that's put thought into it being local, into the design, into what works, for it to be successful, for it to be sustainable, and for me, another level of enjoyment that I think people should enjoy more because
Absolutely,
like the
yes.
Straw Boys on if there's great stories there, and it joins up with culture, our culture.
And I think particularly going through COVID, I think there's a much more focus, and I would heartily agree, on more local Irish produce. And we have such amazing things happening in Ireland. And I think the more emphasis on that, the better, including, of course, ourselves and everything in this area, including Clark Salmon and yourself. There's so much representing in Ireland that we don't need to look elsewhere. So we're really lucky that we have such great support here on the West Coast, particularly. And again, our people are recognizing that. They're recognizing the quality, the produce of local, everything.
I think taking the time to... You take the time first to, and it's all part of the, I say it's value, it's part of the enjoyment. And I say it's overlooked because take a time to look at the design that's gone into it, to consider that, take the time to the design, the dragon, take the time to go into the taste. And I suppose what I'm doing here is bringing that into a little bit of food. So that is to take a little bit of the flavour combinations, I suppose, that work in gin, but to take them and mix them with food. And for me, that's strawberries. And we're doing a nice summer panna cotta. We're in the middle of summer. We're going to do a strawberry panna cotta with honey and strawberries, and mix a little drop of gin just to give that little bit of a kick. The panna cotta itself is going to be a little bit of buttermilk, soy milk and yogurt. We've been talking today about plant-based and the benefits. So in our buttermilk, we've got our probiotics. And we're going to mix we're going to get the strawberries on with a little bit of honey and a bit of natural sweetness, and then we're going to do a little bit of quinoa, and that might be strange.
I think the beautiful thing about, in general, alcohol and everything, there's so many uses for it, including our gin, and there's so many things you can pair with it, and that's part of my role, which is to simply showcase that to people, that it's not this elusive, mysterious thing. It's just a beautiful spirit with lots of botanicals in that, and how many ways and different ways you can use that, which is with strawberries, in desserts, in syrups, in very simple, approachable things.
Yeah. So when we go about looking at flavour combinations, I suppose there's lots... I might, a simple way. That, when we talk about taste, we talk about, and I mentioned this earlier, but it's the senses. So it's how we smell, it's how we taste. We've got the salt, sweet, sour, umami. You've got your the visual. So again, the product looks after that side, and you say the botanicals match that up. But this dish is going to try and do that also. So we've got the colour coming for the strawberries.
It's already smelling delicious.
Yeah. And what I'm going to do is just take a little wee drop, a wee dram. So when you talk about Connaught Distillery as well, I mean, 2016 it's not a long time on the go, but it has been very successful in that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, we're still very new in the area. Even in the spirits industry itself, we're still in those baby stages. But again, we've won some amazing awards for all our produce, all of our portfolio, and even more recently with our whiskey, our batch one, we won double gold from the San Francisco Awards, which is, to those that don't know, a fantastic award. We're
That's
super
amazing.
proud of
So
it.
you've won a double gold.
Double gold, which means the whole panel gave it a gold straight up. One of probably the most prestigious, spirit awards in the world already. So, we're still getting our little name out there, but internationally, on whiskey standards and across the board with everything, we've done exceptionally well. So, really for us, it's just fantastic to showcase what we're doing locally and get that name out there, like everything.
And I think, I've met you. We've gone through what we're going to do today. We've talked. We've researched. But that professionalism in getting ready for a day is not seen in all products or with all companies. So there's a reason you're successful in your taste, and it's down to those that support in the background, which is yourself and the team behind you are working with you. So that's I'm not surprised that it's successful. And
I mean, we're very lucky that everyone's, again, we're a small team. Everyone's super passionate. So with that comes that just extra level of, communication, service across the board, and that just wants to succeed, and that's what sets us apart and gives me actually a role.
Yeah.
I am there as that point of contact to go that extra step, to bring that level of, approachability and service to whoever would like to taste it.
And so we said and mentioned earlier on, we didn't get round to it, but it's, you're not from Ballina, you're not from Ireland originally.
Well, in fact, I am. I grew up in Dublin, but I'm half American. So there's always a confusion as to where I'm from.
Okay.
How do I sound like this? But yeah, my mother is American. I grew up in Dublin, and I was away in Canada for several years until they managed to convince me to come back for this role. So I was delighted to be able to come back to home to Ireland and to represent such an amazing distillery and be a part of this from the kind of start.
Brilliant. And how are you enjoying it? There's lots to enjoy around the west of Ireland, around Mayo. I mean, we're about home to Mayo here. As someone who has grew up in America, what do you see as the strengths of this county?
I think every time I come to the West Coast and to Mayo, I just enjoy, everyone, the community so much. And beyond the beauty of the area, like I was staying in Killala, such a beautiful beach down there. It's just picturesque beyond belief with no one there. I think people are just unbelievably friendly, and I think that's what Irish people are known for around the world. And even I get to still enjoy that every time I come down, staying in a wonderful local B&B. I was given, fresh eggs and home-baked, brown bread to go. And this is
the welcome, the Irish welcome. Fresh
literally,
eggs and brown
again,
bread.
I still enjoy it every time I come to visit. It's still a treat. And so that's what I try to showcase to people, that what makes the West Coast, Mayo, particularly special. And of course, just everything we have here, the River Moy, the salmon. The salmon here is fantastic. I got to try some local wild. It was just beautiful. And we have a wonderful festival coming up.
That's right, in summer.
In July, yes. So that's going to be a wonderful time.
Our salmon festival, that's something we're very proud of. It has been going for years. And again, another big team behind that.
Absolutely, yes.
What I'm doing here again is another little bit of like a little tagine, vegetable tagine with a little bit of couscous. So I've sort of been working and talking away and not telling you what I'm doing. So I'm going to do a little bit about what I'm doing now. So we've been doing a little bit of a vegetable tagine here and a little bit of couscous. So couscous is one of those easy grains that's to get that can take lots of flavor, right? And so the flavors I like to put with it. So in this one we have lemon, cumin, coriander, and that'll work well with the tomato and the spices we have going in our tagine. When we talk about plant-based, again, this is another following on from the theme from earlier on, but I went with some dishes for today that were, I suppose, traditional in a way that people are familiar with them. So when you want to break down barriers, or when you want to get someone to taste something, you have to bring a little bit of culture into, or what they're used to, what they enjoy already, into what they're eating.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to make it approachable, something that they can relate to, and to make that first step to taste that delicious food. You gotta grab them somehow.
Yeah, and so we're going to do a little bit of couscous. Couscous is very easy to prepare. So how would I do this? I take per person about 100 grams, and take the time to boil a stock, a little bit of vegetable stock, and mix your cumin, couscous, lemon zest, a little pinch of paprika, coriander, a little bit of garam masala. That gives that nice round flavour to the couscous. We're going to have a little bit of mint added to it in a little minute, and our little bit of veg. Now, all I wanted to do was reduce the strawberries while we were talking there. So we made a little bit like a compote of quinoa and strawberries, so that's honey and the gin, and we've added a little bit of flavour to start. And I'm going to add a little bit more just to give it that kick at the end.
And of course, for anyone, that alcohol will, evaporate off. So.
And that's bit like you saw me using the teaspoon. I'm not heavy-handed.
You could be a little heavy on your.
I could be a little heavy-handed, yeah. So that's for that, and then a little bit of herb. So.
And I think King was a sort of underdog, really, of sort of ingredients out there. That's so easy to prepare, so delicious, and again, very healthy for you as a alternative to rice.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about this isn't very sweet, but it's because of the buttermilk, but it is very it is balanced, and I suppose that's for me what I was saying earlier. It was just that as long as it's balanced, it's okay. Compot's going to balance up nicely. I'm going to leave that there for a sec now. Now, you get finished up here. So I have a mixture of the compote and a mixture of fresh.
Well, I'd say it already smells and looks delicious.
Yeah. And we're going to get a little bit of the colours going here as well. So Suzanne, when you work, is it normally based in Ballina or?
So I'm based in Dublin, but I'm up in the distillery frequently, which is just the best part of my job, probably, to come down here and see the team and see the warehouse, and also be a part of the visitor centre that we have. So for anyone who's watching, our visitor centre is open, we'd love visitors. It's a great part, again, of being able to offer that locally. It's another experience in the area, which is fantastic, including Belize Castle and the many other kind of wonderful things you can do locally. But yeah, I travel around the country, visit sort of different cities, and I'm just there to promote, educate, train, and just, again, promote Irish produce on our own portfolio. And that's the really exciting part about my job.
Very good. And I suppose it's got a lot of value in it, in that growing a brand from zero in 2016 to like you're up against serious competition in the market.
Yes. And it's a really exciting time, particularly for whiskey. There's over 40 distilleries. Our culture, our heritage is an amazing thing. Irish whiskey 100 years ago was the whiskey in the world. So it's fantastic to see that growing again and to be the biggest growing category in spirits in the world. And I think we've got a really competitive whiskey. We've got some great people behind the team, some wonderful awards to showcase that. And, I just think it's delicious.
Often people, when you're talking about awards, they're a confirmation of what you're doing, and it takes some time for people locally to know, or even But I suppose locally is one part of your market, and as you do, you brand nationally. But it just takes some time to get to the point where people know where the product is. But I think with your energy and the energy of the team, the professionalism behind you, I think a consistent product that's doing very well, I think you're going to do nothing but win. So I wish you the very best of luck.
Well, thank you very much.
Now, in the meantime, we're going to taste a little bit, and thanks very much for your time.